Hey, what's good? We in the building. Hey, this your guy Flamingo Fred. This the Bird of Paradise podcast. We got a special guest in the building today. We gonna let him introduce yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself, homie.
What's good? What's happening? It's your boy Smooth. That's SMO double V. Repping 954 Broward County.
Most definitely. Tell. I know we was talking a little bit off air, but tell them where you're from and tell them where you're at,
Yeah,
just in
so I'm
case
from
everybody.
Florida.
Go
I'm
ahead.
from Broward County 954 for a lot of their shallow side. You know what's happening. I'm out here right now in Richmond, Virginia. I've been out here for
Okay.
a couple of years. You know, it's just cheaper. We got all the tourists and shit moving down to Florida from like New York and other places in the DMV and shit. It's just too expensive now.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it's cool. And them sound like two popping locations. I mean, I'm on the West Coast, but I mean, Florida got their thing, and Richmond, Virginia, they got their thing going on out there also.
Yeah, yeah, they got a little scene out here. Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
it ain't, that's cool. So, how you like the scene over there in Virginia?
I mean, it's dope. You know, they definitely got their own type of style and coach out here. That's for sure. You know, but it's a real deal like art type city. You know what I mean? Like when
Uh
you out
huh.
here by the college and shit. You know, they got a lot of art on the walls and on the restaurant and stuff. I mean, shit, everywhere around here it's a walking flick. You can just post up
Man,
anywhere pretty much and take a picture.
just a lot of culture. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's real like a big old melting pot, kind of like
Most
Florida
definitely.
and LA.
Yeah, but Florida is like for me. I'm from the West Coast, Bay Area, Frisco. But Florida, I know it's kind of big over there, and y'all got different terrains, and all the Florida, y'all got it. So it seemed like a big place that would have a lot of different. To me, from an outsider, Florida looked like it got a lot of different cultures within Florida.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true enough for sure. You know, you might go out one day and you be over here and you see a bunch of Spanish people, especially the Spanish people. Shout out to all my Spanish folks out there. When you in Florida, the Spanish people is really popping. Shout out to the Zoes too. The Haitians, of
Hmm.
course, they rep real hard out there. Um, there's plenty of different cultures out there, man. Everywhere you go, you don't never know what type of person you might meet. Shit, you might be at the beach and see, Asian people, like all type of
Yeah.
shit. So yeah.
Nah, that's dope. Most definitely. That's a whole vibe. So, what you pushing right now, right now musically. You know what I mean? I seen a couple things you got. I was looking at your gram. A couple things you got going on.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Right now, this year is me like officially like starting my career. I mean, so far it's been going real nice. I didn't
Yeah.
expect none of this shit that's going on right now to be going on. That's why I mean, like, once again, I want to tell you I appreciate you for inviting me onto the podcast and everything because that's definitely a dope look, especially with me just starting out. But yeah, after the release of Mask and Vibe, you feel me? Like I've been putting in a lot of work lately and recently. I got some new shit coming out in 2 weeks on Friday, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And then at the end of the year, you're gonna be the first person to know this. I ain't put it nowhere yet so far. On September 21st, I will be dropping a mixtape. It's called Commas, COMA dollar sign. It stands for the Coming to Age story.
Yeah, most definitely, bro. I was interviewing a whole lot of people, and then we, got the new office set up out here and doing the thing. But I'm an artist myself. I make music, but this thing is to network with everybody. You know, it's not only for artists, but when artists come on, man, I'm an artist myself. So a lot of times you go places and they'll be trying to put walls up for you, but I'm all about promoting the artists and networking, man, and letting people know what you got going on and keeping them lines of communication open. So, when you drop that thing, man, you got me on the gram or, you got my email, man. Don't be scared to reach out to me and say, hey, Fred, man, I dropped this project. If I miss you the first time, man, send it to me again and say, hey, Fred, this was going on. I'm a rock with you and check it out, man, and holler at you about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I appreciate
And
the look. I appreciate the look.
and the doors, for the show, is always open for you to come, tap back in and be on. The blog was hollering at you. They like, man, this dude pushing. So, they lined everything up and here we are.
Yeah, no, that shit got me excited for real. It's dope when you get to see that people fucking with your shit. You know what I mean?
Nah, most definitely. What are some of your biggest influences? Like what made you want to get into the music game?
Um, Honestly, I think a big part of that got to do with my dad. When I was a kid, I just used to watch him make music with my uncles and stuff. And out in Florida, we got this festival every year. It's called Six Trunk Festival. And my dad performed at it when I was real small. I probably was like maybe 5 or 6. And just seeing him, on the stage and he was performing and the way like the crowd interacted with him and everything
Hmm.
made me feel like, damn, I really like this. And that's where it really all started for me.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to see. Your people. Like I got an older brother. My older brother is you know, checking traps. He's a Grammy nominated producer, but you know, whether he knows it or not, which I'm sure he is, everything I seen him do as a kid, I'm like, man, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
That's my older brother. He played ball. I'm like, man, I gotta have some type of DNA in me to play some ball. You feel me? And
Yeah, yeah.
I started playing ball. Then he was doing music and throwing us on talent shows. So, he was a much inspiration. And then, as you'll see as an artist, after seeing your father do something, you got to go find yourself as an artist and grow as the artist you're
Right.
gonna be and how you gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a beautiful process, man. And a lot of times, in this music industry now, they got the Drake and the Kendrick beef and
Oh,
this
I'm
and that.
loving that
But
right now.
you know, art and making music is a beautiful thing that people should always do.
Yeah, definitely for sure. The art definitely come first. But it come with the art is the art of war as well sometimes. And I'm loving what they doing right now, for the coaching. Like the fact that they got out there, they put all their differences on wax and everything. Just them being able to get it out. And I'm glad it ain't really resulted in no like real deal crazy stuff.
Nah, it shouldn't, man. Like back in the day, like I'm a big fan of, a lot of the music I've been getting into now is like electronic and funk. I started out just making rap, but you go look back at the way hip hop and the culture was first getting going, you used to battle when you was battle dancing, and we still do that today, but it was a lot of
Yeah,
battle dancing, and you had your crew and y'all was rapping and doing this. Like, there are elements of hip hop in the culture where it's a competition where it ain't gotta lead to violence. You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
Um,
for sure, for
you
sure.
take your lumps and you throw stuff out and keep it pushing and do it like that. If you ain't with it, just do like J. Cole did and step aside.
Yeah,
I
just be
said
like,
my
hey.
piece.
And let me put it on the record right now. J. Cole is my favorite rapper of all time. that's
Well,
my that's my goat for me. And even with him stepping out and everything, I mean, in hindsight, I think he made his own decision, and it may have been the right decision for him, especially with them getting so personal the way that they did. I feel
hey,
like that shit was so far from what he thought it was gonna be. I feel like he thought it was gonna be more of a like, shit, we all finna jump in the booth and we just gonna go at it like just on bars and shit. But with them going at each other personally and stuff, and him being cool with both, I feel like it was a smarter decision to just,
I, I
sit
mean,
that one out.
I rock with J. Cole. I mean, I like all these artists. I listen to them a little bit. Sometimes you gotta just do what's best for you. And J. Cole step aside. They going after Drake, which if you look at Drake, he's an easy target to go after. He Canadian and you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
he Jewish and he got all these things that's not we not used to really having in hip hop and things like that. So I mean, he's an
yeah.
easy target to go after because you like, bro, you was on Degrassi. What are you talking about? Not saying that, not saying that you can't be on Degrassi and be a hitter, but
Yeah, it's
let's
kind of hard for people to believe that shit when
yeah,
that's what your background is.
yeah. You've been having a trailer and eating Ritz crackers and cheese and stuff in the background, you know. So it's
Yeah,
hard for us to what they say. We don't believe you.
yeah, we don't believe you.
So nah, it's most definitely to dope to have them elements. I mean, one of my favorite rappers of all time, it's hard for me to pick, is Fife Dog from the Tribe Called Quest. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good damn pick.
he
That's a good
he
pick.
and I don't hear a lot of people say that he was their favorite. I mean, a lot of people like the Tribe, they're for the Tribe, but man,
Yeah,
I remember, just being little and this is after the time Tribe had already did their thing, but I got, wind up having ACD, in the collection that Pops had, and I was listening to the Tribe, man, and Fife used to just, man, he was just hype, and he had these like
yeah,
the little, Muggsy Bow, you know what I mean? Like the little dude was
yeah.
just
He had
coming
the
to
feisty little dude thing going
yeah,
for him.
he
Yeah,
to wreak havoc. So that he was always been, one of my favorite.
yeah. A lot of people don't even listen to that stuff no more, but I feel like it's definitely important. especially if this is what you want to do with your life. It's definitely important to go back and do that research on the people that open the doors, and like set the standard for us. Because they come from like a very important, very like, all of the parts of hip hop is important, but they come from a really important part of hip hop with the golden age and them really like making a place for us within the industry
No,
and the
no, most
business.
most definitely. Like I remember back in the day, I forget what track it was, but Common was, talking about hip hop and something like that, and I was like, for myself, I have asked myself recently, like, man, am I falling out of love with with hip hop and rap? Like it's been part of my life for so long. Am I falling out of love with it? Because I mean, I really like underground music. I like the sampling. I like this. I like all different forms of music. But I think for me, as much fun as like the beef is and different stuff like that, I think sometimes they're only showcasing one side of hip hop. Like it's like TMZ, WWE wrestling, that it kind of like for me has been kind of taken away from the music and the art form, like
Right.
back in the day, like Tribe Called Quest, for instance, they used to have like the native tongues where man, everybody was coming together and they adding these different elements to the group, and stuff like that. And nowadays it's like, man, fuck everybody. I'm the dopest rapper, but man, little JoJo
Yeah.
over here, he might not be super lyrical, but he story tells and he's hella funny. And PD over here, you know what I mean? He does, you know what I mean? Used to come together and add these different elements to hip hop and showcase the knowledge, you know what I mean, and the information and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes I know it's there out there, like talking to artists like yourself and other people, but what they're showcasing on the mainstream ain't that. That's why I feel like it's beautiful to have
Yeah.
shows like this so we could shine the light on these, these people.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a much needed, platform for hip hop to go back to, like that's why I really fuck with what you're doing. Like when I seen your name and it was like, oh yeah, Flamingo Fred, I'm like, damn, that's cool as hell. That reminds you of, like Yo MTV Raps when they got, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like
it was
not
cool.
it,
And this
it,
is
it's
definitely needed.
it's a vibe. Like one of my first stage names was Wreck the Rebel, which was short for my name Frederick, and it was cool. And I was doing super hip hoppy, and I'm like, man, let me switch over to Flamingo Fred, which has been some years now. I'm like, man, it's just it adds a different side to me and the element and stuff like that. But it's my thing is just I'm just trying to create a vibe, and I feel like that's one of my goals in life is just to spread love and create a vibe, especially in this culture and creativity to making movies and doing different stuff. Like I'm just trying to vibe, man, like a
Yeah.
like a black hippie, man. I'm trying to vibe and connect and holla at the people. I mean that's kind of always who I've been, but as you mature, you get
Yeah.
even more comfortable showcasing that to the world.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And I feel like that was a part of the reason why, it took me so long to really like strap in and do what I wanted to do. Because it took me a while to get that understanding. Like, bro, just make and do what you like. I may not like to make a party song every single time, but like if one come, then it come. And if I want to talk about some real shit, then I'm gonna talk about some real shit. And I feel like that type of shit is what people connect to. They connect to you being real with yourself. If you being real with yourself, they feel like, damn, I can lock in with this person.
Yeah, most definitely. It's like for me, one of the struggles has been lately, which I never used to have. I used to just jump on the mic, but now I'm like, okay, I want to do hip hop on this song, but on this song over here, I want to have some funky electronic, you know what I mean, vibes, like some old school, and then I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like for me, I kind of got to get over that, which I'm trying to push myself. Is like, man, just make it. But I'm like, okay, what category does this fall into? What album does this go to? And
Right.
I just gotta make it in vibe, because I feel like I'm evolving more than just hip hop.
Yeah, no, and that's a dope thing. You feel me? Like I feel like it's definitely cool that you're exploring that. I feel like all artists and whoever listening to this, if you are an artist, definitely explore, those different things that you know you feel drawn to, and try to implement that into your own art because that's what art is. You just take everything that you feel that you've seen from others, and then you just evolve it and you turn it into your own thing. And that's what's beautiful about art. You can do whatever you want because it's you're in the control.
Yeah, most definitely. At one point I was like, man, I used to see, like, I remember when Wayne was trying to come out with like a rock album, and I used to see different people try different things. I used to be like, man, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Why are you trying to?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now, like, as I'm evolving now, I understand. Like, man, look, I want to try. Like, I realized, like, for me, one of the things that really kind of got me into hip hop and stuff like that. Like back in the day, I used to find all these old CDs, and like they used
yeah,
to have these CDs. There was like a master mix, and it was like that like I guess I don't really know that it was like kind of like an electronic hip hop. Like, I don't know if you remember like Egyptian Lover. It was kind of maybe comparable to like something like the Black Eyed Peas or something would do, but
yeah.
it was like,
Like
yeah, it was
alternative hip
it was
hop.
like a lot of synthesizers with the 808s, like,
Yeah,
and they used to have and this is before they came out with this EDM, and which I'm not a huge fan of the like that. I mean, but they used to come out with these beats and used to dance, and it was dum 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 and
yeah,
shit like that. And that's what really had me fall in love with hip hop in the first place. So now I'm discovering, like, yeah, the lyrics and shit like that is cool, but man, I want to create a vibe where we get back to that, that feel good at
yeah,
the barbecue. You know what I mean? You know who was a huge influence on that? Like Zap Roger, like Computer Love. It was like that
yeah,
era where it was transitioning to hip hop, but it was still had the computer love.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It
yeah.
was just dope, you
Yeah, no,
know?
I feel like all that type of shit is for real dope. Like, and that's why I do a lot of deep dives into the culture. When I'm trying to expand on what it is that I'm doing. Like I try to go back and look at all the things that all the people who have been successful and what we do and what they did. And like how they started and where they ended up ending that. Like like De La Soul. I just started looking into them like real tough. You feel me? I just listened to 3 Feet High and Rising, and
Mm.
that shit. First off, that shit is fire. Even with it being like from way back, that shit was fire. You know what I'm
At that
saying?
at that time, because I feel like their style, like that kind of, because when you come in this game and you making music, you question yourself. Even people don't say it, like, you question yourself, who are you gonna
Yeah, for
be?
sure.
Some people play, it's gangsters, it's thugs, it's this and that. And then you look at De La Soul, like they really had like a hippie hip hop flair. And I think they from the East Coast, like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
New
yeah.
York. So like, if you like, that was
They
crazy that
Staten
they
Island, Staten Island.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was crazy. They had the balls to do that at that time. Like, they had the album with the flowers on it, and you know what I mean? That
yeah,
was crazy.
yeah. And I had watched the interview with them. And they was talking about how like when they put that joint out, everybody tried to label them as like the hippies of hip hop. Like that was one of the first instances of it where they was like labeling people and trying to put people in boxes and shit. And
Yeah.
the members really wasn't fucking with that. They hated that, and that's why they followed up with an album called De La Is Dead, because they felt like people was trying to put them in this box where the
Mm-hmm.
only type of music that they made was like this, peace and love type shit. You know what I'm saying? But like that just happened to be what they was feeling on that particular project. And I feel like that's something that I was definitely worried about too in the beginning. Like when people hear my music, like if they go and they listen to like Mask or something, they might think that, oh, the only thing that he talking about is it's always on some serious shit or maybe be like something like that. But in reality, it just depend on what I'm feeling like, like and what I get from the music when I hear it. I feel like that's why I start at. Like when I hear the music,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the feeling that the music give me, if it give me like some get rowdy, let's party shit, then that's the type of record it'll be. If it give me some like damn, some serious feelings, like some shit that make me feel like I need to think, then it might be some more conscious some more conscious
Yeah.
shit. Like how Mass ended up being.
Nah, most definitely. I think, you gotta do what works for you. For me personally, as I grew, and matured in the game, like, I always liked hip hop because I felt like when I hop on a hip hop track, I could talk about whatever. Like a boom bap hip hop track, I could talk about whatever. When I'm on these
Right.
mainstream type tracks, I'm like, man, I can only like his money, women, this, that. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of boxed in. Like, if you go listen to Doom albums, you know what I mean? MF Doom, like, he's
Yeah.
coming on, he got the Marvel Comics clip, and then he's, you know what I mean, come 2 days in the shoot, you don't know what it sounds like he about to go pull off a heist, and You know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah, nah. Dude was
It's
a character for sure.
you know, it's interesting. I actually interviewed a cat named the grappler Gustavo Luis, and you know, he wears the mask, the luchador mask, and it's like they got this they got this
A
character,
rapper?
and then
He wear a luchador mask?
yeah,
That's crazy. I
he
ain't
wear a
never seen it.
luchador mask. He Gustavo the
Okay.
grappler Gustavo Luis. He wears the mask, but it's like it adds this element to the music where it's like it's almost like a story, like you watching Marvel comics. Like, man, I can't
Yeah.
this, and I always like that element, and I'm trying to have that more in my music. You know, Flamingo Fred, the vibes, the '80s vibe, this and that, versus the mainstream. You know, where you can only I feel like talk about certain things and it's restrictive, but
Right.
different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You
And I
know,
feel like that is when it comes to that shit, the boxing thing, and to all
hmm
the fans out there, please stop doing that to people. you know, let people, make what they make, and if you fuck with it, then fuck with it. If you don't, move on to the next thing. I
yeah,
think that's how you should look at all music.
yeah. I think to be honest with you, bro, I feel like we live in an era now where you could be whatever you want to be. You know, will you be Drake famous? You can't guarantee that, but with the
Right,
platforms that we have, you could be whatever you want to be as long as you're not faking. Like you can't act like you just that. You know, you the shooter if you're not the shooter. But if you want to
right.
be, the dude that makes pizzas and rap, you could be that dude. If you want to
Yeah,
be the
you could be
dude
that
that
dude.
you want to be the dude that has the umbrella and raps, you could be that dude, and you could film yourself and create your own thing and whatever you want to do and make content. I feel like you could be like we've seen a lot of on social media. I've seen a lot of different characters with the music and different aesthetics, and some people got the '80s vibe, some people got this vibe, and the whatever else. I feel like you could do that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, how do you feel about the music industry has a lot of shifts. How do you feel about streaming and stuff like that, and the effect that that has on the music game?
I mean, shit. Honestly, I think that streaming is it. I feel like what it has done for independent artists is honestly where it shines the most at. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like with the bigger artists, they was already gonna sell them CDs no matter what. So the physical aspect of it for the bigger artists, it was pretty much the same as far as streaming go, except for the fact that everybody can anywhere in the world can listen to that bitch at all times, and they keep running up the numbers. But for like the independent artists, for those of us that don't have these big ass labels pushing us and everything, being able to have your music available for anybody to listen to, and they don't have to go and purchase it out of a store versus they can just be subscribed to whatever service and listen to your shit. I feel like that's what streaming. I feel like streaming is really important just because of that aspect. I feel like it really opens the door for us independent artists to be able to put our music in front of whoever we want to put it in front of, and they can listen to it at whatever time.
Nah, most definitely. I mean, I agree with you. I think there's pros and cons to everything. I mean, the part that sucks about it is, we ain't really making no money. Like I've hit a million
Yeah, that's the
streams and
toughest
shit
part.
before with my brother Verseborn, and I mean, it wasn't a great big check, so that sucks. But flip side to it, we live in an age now where, man, you might have a huge bunch of fans in the Philippines somewhere, or Singapore, or somewhere that you don't even know about, and they over there think you the greatest thing that ever happened, and they would
Yeah,
have never knew about you if they wasn't able to stream your music.
yeah, for sure. Shout out to Russ too. Shout out
Yeah,
to Russ because the first person that really put me like on that type of game was listening to a Russ interview where he was like, hell yeah, like I was putting out all this music and they might not have been fucking with it in America, per se, but you feel me, like over here they fucking with my shit tough, and they perception of me over there is
man.
a lot different from what y'all perception of me over here is. Like they think I'm a superstar. I can go over there and do a tour and sell out if the numbers is right, and make a nice little bag going to wherever the fuck, Peru, Egypt,
Bruh.
wherever the hell they fucking with you at.
I mean, you would be amazed, bro. Like I've tapped in with people that found me from Africa, people that found me from the Philippines, people that found me from all different types of places that you would never know, and it's all thanks to the internet. You know what I mean? If this was back before we had this internet, I probably would have been in my local area, or who knows. But a lot of times in this music game, you might not have uh, a million people on your Instagram or a million streams, but you might have 50 people, and
Yeah,
and 50 people going, they like, man, this dude, this is my dude. For me, like, I'm not trying to be Kendrick Lamar and TMZ hopping out of my bushes. I want to just be an underground artist and do some underground, cheesy films and shit like that.
yeah,
Like, I'm happy with my little following that I gain. Like, people think like Flamingo Fred, they look at the aesthetic, they think I want to be world famous, and I really don't. I'm happy with just, my I'm happy with, 1,000, 10,000 fans, and I'm cool. I don't need millions and millions. I just need a couple of people that appreciate this work that I'm doing and could vibe how I'm trying to, make you feel the vibe. Like, okay, I see what Fred on. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
vibe, you know?
yeah. And I respect that shit. Like I respect anybody that know what they personal idea of success is. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people, you ask them, like, well, what's your goal? What you want to be? And they'll just tell you, oh, well, I want to be an actor. But then they won't tell you like what they mean by that. And I feel like that's important. You got to know what you mean by that. Like, oh, well, I want to be an actor. Okay, well, do you want to be a Emmy award winning actor? Do you just want to be a B-list actor that maybe get in a few nice little roles and a little bit of people? What is your version of success in your head? Because as soon as you can determine that, you can make it easier to where you going straight towards that goal. Like my idea of success may not necessarily be being Drake famous or really being famous at all. My idea of success is just me being able to reach out to people and get them a different perspective, and then speak for the people who come from where I come from and don't get to really put that message out there. And I feel like if I can put our message as a whole out into the world, then I can change something. You know what I mean?
Nah, most definitely. And I've always wanted people to feel the energy that I feel. Like, I got this energy inside me. I don't know if it's a higher power or what, but I just want people to, when it to feel how I feel. And it's not necessarily partying, but whatever, I get this energy in me that wants to go, move and socialize and create it's like how it was back in the day, man. Like, say for instance, it was like the 60s or 70s, you know what I mean? Back in
Right.
that day, you used to have to go throw your fit on, you know what I mean? Get ready, get fly. You didn't have no cell phone, you didn't have nothing, and you had to go outside. If you seen a lady that you liked, you had to talk to her. You seen the
Yeah.
fellas, you had to have some conversation. Hey man, what's going on, cat daddy? You know what I mean? Hey, you used to have to, have some conversation, and the people who could go move and groove and do all that, they was popular or whatever else. And I feel like I got that energy about me, and I want to use music and movies and stuff like that to create that vibe and my perspective on the world. But like you said, a lot of people don't know what they want to do. When I first started making music, me and my partner Verseborn, he set me up in the studio. I thought I was gonna be, world famous overnight with one hit, But
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
as I done evolved as an artist, I understand like what I'm comfortable with, and I want to create. But I like my space. When I pop out, I want to pop out. When I want to fall back, don't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel that. I can dig that. I think that's what I'm worried about. Cause I mean, a part of me feel like I ain't gonna lie, this ain't me being cocky. I just feel like my shit gonna blow one of these days. And I think that the part that I'm most worried about is, people being in my face like that, because I wouldn't say that I'm extremely introverted, but I would definitely use that word to describe myself.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I don't really like being that like outward person like that. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
get down with who I get down with though. All my niggas know me. They'll tell you a different version of me from what a stranger would know of me. But like I feel like that's my biggest thing. I don't want to get famous and then people are being weird. I don't want none of that weird shit.
Nah, I mean, and anytime, that's the thing about anytime you out moving and grooving and you interacting with people, you always gonna run into some weird
Yeah,
situations. I mean, it could be as simple as, what I mean, somebody going to buy some blunts. I mean, you always gonna run into weird situations. But in order for you to hit that next level, you gotta believe you gonna hit that next level. And I mean, you gotta believe it, you know, all the way through. Now, you can't just be
yeah,
delusional. you can't just be on the couch and think, they gonna come find you. But you gotta
Yeah,
believe,
yeah,
you gotta believe in your heart of hearts that everything you trying to do and it's gonna happen. Like, bro, I mean, manifestation and believing and seeing, like, man, shit has happened in my life, man, like what we're doing now, like shit has happened in my life, like I had to just look back, like, man, to somebody else it might seem little, to somebody else it might seem huge, to me it feel huge, but I've seen how things have happened in my life, like, man, I done been in some situations, man, where I'm like, bruh, like everything is
yeah,
it's all bad right now. I don't know what the next move is to, man, starting this podcast show, to, man, setting up and getting this office in the main street of town. You know what I mean? And doing all these things. So it starts with a belief, and also it also helps to put that good energy out into the universe. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
when nobody's looking, having good energy in a good spirit. Because there's people that'll make it. We can look at stories about people that made it. And they made it the wrong
yeah,
way, or they hit success the wrong way. You can listen to DMX and some other people that'll tell you about them situations that'll come into your life.
yeah, yeah. And it all depends on the choices that you make in those situations. And I
Man,
feel
it's
like, be a part of being prepared for that is, understanding what it is that you mean by this is what I want to be. Once you understand that, then you go and you find out what's going to come with that. And then you can begin, especially if you believe in yourself. Like I truly do believe in myself and where I'm going. So, I definitely try and get that game for where I'll get it from, whether it be a piece of an interview that I seen one of my favorite rappers doing, or a piece of an interview from a businessman that's well respected. You know what I'm saying? Like taking that game from them and being like, okay, when I get into this situation, I should probably, move this way or move that way.
yeah.
Like I'm a million different years from where the hell I'm at right now in this particular moment in time. I feel like in 5 years from now, there's gonna come up a situation that I was already prepared for just because I was thinking about it at this point in time. And like, damn, when I get into that situation, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, man. My mom always has, my mama always has hella sayings. I'll be talking to her on the phone, you know, and she always has these sayings, and I hit certain points when I'm doing this shit, moving and grooving. I just, them sayings be popping in my head, and one of them shit she always say is hindsight is 2020, meaning looking
Yeah,
back. Looking back, you like, man, that's why you go watch the sports replay. Man, if I would have caught it at the top of
yeah,
the key, I should have, as you look back in life, you're always gonna be able to look back and be like, man, I should have did this, or what happened if I'd have did it this way and did it this way. So it's
right,
easier to look back and see what you could have did or should have did. So going forward, we could just tackle that shit the best way we can, and try
right,
our best,
yeah, yeah. No,
you
that's
know,
definitely some real shit because you can't go back and change nothing.
man.
You
And
know,
and you're gonna get caught, like, every time in life you're gonna think, man, I know what to do and I got this figured out, and life will show you some shit that you was
yeah,
never
but
prepared for.
yeah, the
you
best you
know
can do is, I feel like planning to execute something like in a definite way, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it this way, and this is exactly how it's gonna go. Is a fool's mission, bro. That's a dummy job. I feel like the best way that you can do it is, hope. Like be prepared, but nigga, hope because
and
it's gonna change. Something gonna happen that you just ain't ready for. You gonna think like, oh yeah, this is the way it's gonna go down, and then that bitch gonna go
bro,
completely left, and you ain't gonna know what
another
you're doing.
saying, mom say, she say, you plan and God laughs. That means
Yeah,
you could try to plan and whatever else, and that's something I say in life is like, now, as much as I know a lot of things, I know a lot, I know a little about a lot, but I also tell myself I don't know shit, because
and
what
that's
do I
that's
know? I
true. That's
mean,
true words.
what do I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what do I know?
Yeah, yeah. There's a quote from somebody. I forget where I heard that shit at. Oh no, no, no! I remember. It was in the Erica Badu song. She says, "The man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all." And that line in that song stuck with me hard as shit when I first heard it. And I thought it was cold as hell because I'm like, damn, that's some real shit. You know?
Man, I got a little brother, man, and he's a lot more stubborn than me. He's a lot more blunt than me. Sagittarius, if you know anything about that, but he real
Yeah,
stubborn and blunt, and he said to me before, like, oh, this person can't teach me nothing. And I told to him, like, man, I could be walking down the street and I could run into a homeless man, and I'm looking at him, and he might look like he dirty, he might look like he homeless, but he might give me some information that turned me into a multimillionaire. You know, how
yeah,
do you
that's
know?
real
Or
shit.
even if he don't tell me exactly straight up, he might spark the idea. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You don't know, he might spark the idea on accident and a light bulb go off in my head, and I done figured out a way so you could use a microphone under the ocean talking to him, you know what I mean? And now you know what I mean? Now I'm on the Forbes list, Flamingo Fred, so you don't never know where you can learn something from. So with
yeah.
that being said, that means I don't know shit really.
Hell yeah, that shit out there. It's out there, definitely. Like, and I feel like to expand on that. A lot of times, you feel me, the people that feel like they know something, and then they meet that person that know a hell of a lot more. It can go one or two ways. Either you turn to a hating that motherfucker, either you gonna just turn into a hater, or you gonna be inspired by that person and want to do better. Like that's what happened to me. Like I said, my father was the one who inspired me to get into music, but I never took it seriously for real until I was about 14 and I met my
Mhm.
homie, his name Tyrell. Um, and he a rapper too still to this day.
Shout out Tyrell.
Yeah, shout out my nigga Tyrell, aka Stunt. You can follow him on Instagram, Stunt Got Horns. Or City Boy Stunt, I'm sorry. Uh
Hmm.
but yeah, I met him out there and we always knew each other, like knew of each other rather. I had never spoken to him before, but we grew up in the same apartment complex. Like I've been
Hmm.
seeing him around since I was a shorty, you know, riding the skateboard and shit through the neighborhood and shit. And then one day we just ended up talking to each other because he was cool with my little brothers. And
Hmm.
he was like, yo, bro, I heard you rap and your shit is tight. Like he was fucking with my shit. And I'm like, no, for real? And he's like, yeah, man, we should do this whole little group thing together. And I was surprised because I thought he was so much better than me, bro. Like I used to think that I was the shit before, but like, bro, when I heard him rap, I was like, damn, And honestly, that's my nigga, but we can get down today. Like, so I feel like I'm with him. I'm with him now. But like before, I just couldn't believe that shit. And he definitely gave me the belief in myself that I didn't have before
Well,
to be.
that's fire as fuck, and this goes back to kind of what I was saying before. I think we got a problem in hip hop where we're like, who's the dopest rapper ever? Like when I was coming up, there's a lot of cats that just was like, oh, they the dopest rapper ever, they
Yeah,
dopest. But I feel like with music, man, people bring different elements. It's like on a basketball team. It's Draymond Green. He over here intimidating, he grabbing rebounds, he talking shit, and then it's Steph Curry. He's over here launching them from deep. Like you look at
yeah,
a group like Public Enemy, you know what I mean? A lot of people was like Flavor Flav can't rap. Like you heard Chuck D in a minute, and Chuck D, and then Flavor Flav comes in with this, like you got this super militant dude with Chuck D, like militant black dude, and then here comes Flavor
yeah,
Flav. You know what I mean? He dark dude, got a clock on, he wearing something, he bright, and he Flavor Flav, you know what I mean? He coming. So,
yeah,
I think we sleep on people adding different things to the pot, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I think it's not about being the dopest rapper ever or whatever. It's like adding different elements to what we got going on here, especially, if you're in a group. Like I was in a
yeah,
group with my brother, and I still am, with my brother Firstborn is Conquest. Like I felt like he was always more serious than me and dropping bars, this, and that. So I kind of wanted to be, the Flavor Flav type element. I'm gonna come in and, you know what I mean, make you laugh. Hey, baby, you know what I mean? Touch on her
yeah,
hiney, you know what I mean? I'm gonna come in with some other type of shit to like kind of counteract to what he got going on, but we still preaching the message. So I feel like we need to appreciate all these people that can add different elements to the pot and create. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. But I mean, shit, I don't know. I just feel like because of the way the culture is, especially when you go so far back, that when people feel like, oh well, I'm the dopest. I feel like even though in a specific way it can be like kind of toxic, I
I,
feel like it
very
definitely
much.
has its real place within the game because I feel like any rapper or any artist, no matter what genre they in, if they don't feel like they the best, then it's probably not gonna be for them. I'm gonna be real, just because without having that hunger, without having that hunger and that drive, it'll be it'll be hard for you to really stand out. Like
Hmm.
of course, you being different and you being authentically you is gonna help, and it's gonna help to push you, and propel you forward. Having that hunger is what really sets the boys apart from the men, and that's just some real shit. Like whether
Most
and
definitely.
so when I say like I think I'm the dopest, I'm not saying it, just to say it. I'm saying it because I genuinely believe that in myself. I believe that
Hmm.
of myself, and I feel like anybody else and whatever they do should feel that exact same way. I feel like Flamingo Fred should feel like he the best fucking podcast interviewer on any platform ever. And I feel like everybody should feel that way, and it
Mo-
has its
mo-
place.
Most definitely. I mean, you gotta feel like you go hard, and one of the things that I started looking at life like, um, I want to be the only Flamingo Fred. So yeah, they
Yeah,
might got Kendrick and he going crazy. He da, 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 da. But man, here comes Flamingo Fred with this different type of element. So instead of for me looking at I'm the best, I'm looking at I'm the best me. There ain't no other Flamingo Fred. You know what I
and
mean?
that's some real shit. I can
And
get
once you
behind
get
that.
once you start growing and like, because like it goes with what you saying, you got to be you got to have
Yeah,
some motherfucking confidence, like, in who you are and your brand and what you pushing. But like I said, I feel like it ain't no other Flamingo Fred. I'm the only me. Like, yeah, it's gonna be somebody that can come and rap and do this and that, but like, I'm the only Flamingo Fred, and I could just be the best Flamingo Fred I could be, and that's good enough. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to,
yeah,
because you'll spend forever trying to be the best. Now, if you playing basketball or something, you might want to be the best team. You know what I mean? The year, that's how you win a
yeah.
championship. But when I feel like when it comes to creativity and the arts, yeah, I mean, you probably gonna want the best album of the year, or you probably gonna want to be the best in your area. But you know, I feel
Yeah.
like that's gonna happen by you just being the best you.
And yeah, see, and that's some real shit. I can get behind that. That's definitely yeah, and I feel like adding that context behind it, couple behind what I'm saying, I feel like that message that we just gave to the people is some real shit.
Man, that's
Like
some.
being able to, put both of those things and bring them together and keep them balanced. That shit is gonna take you where you want to be. Because as you said, you supposed to want to be the best, but at the same time, like when I go and write these joints, I'm not thinking that, you know, damn, this shit gonna get song of the year, or everybody gonna fuck with this shit. This shit gonna go number one. Like, no, when I'm writing my music, you know what I'm saying? I'm just writing what I'm feeling. If it happened to go number one, if it happened to be the song of the year, if my mixtape happened to be album of the year or mixtape of the year, whatever the hell you want to call it, that'll just be icing on the cake, What you're doing for you, and so I can agree with what you're saying on that point too.
Most definitely. I feel like the rap, not even just rap. I feel like the entertainment game and any game you could run into is funny. You know what I mean? They got
Yeah,
the people that they gonna fuck with, and that's in their circle, and they gonna have them up here. The rest of everybody else, you got to figure out how can you go make your money that you want to make in a year off of what you doing. You know what I mean? Like they
right.
gonna have the Drakes. They gonna even Kendrick for a while. You notice Kendrick came out with that To Pimp a Butterfly, because I
Yeah,
mean, remember Kendrick had that song, "Liquor Pools, Swimming Pools." Then you dive, and they was
yeah,
like, "Oh, they was on Kendrick." He was spitting. Then he came out with "Pimp a Butterfly," and they was like, "Wait a minute, we don't know if we want to be pushing this message to the inner city again. We not going
yeah,
through this shit again." You know what I
yeah,
mean? They like what? So if you notice, they kind of put Kendrick back a little bit. So
yeah,
in this industry, I feel like they gonna mess with who they gonna mess with. But as like an underground artist, you might be able to put your albums out and go figure out a way to make $1 million a year on the underground. You know what I mean?
yeah, for
And
sure.
do your thing. It don't always have to be, you know, Drake. It goes back, like we said, what is your level of success you want to get at? Like, I think a lot of artists get defeated sometimes because they're not on tour with J. Cole. Like, you ain't got to be J. Cole,
Yeah,
especially in this era, do your thing and put it out and make your money. I'm looking at like, man, if you could replace your daily job, they say don't quit your day job. If you could
hmm
replace your day job with music or your talent, you're winning.
Absolutely.
If you
Absolutely.
could supplement your income with your music, you're winning. If you can make 100K a year off of music, you're winning. That's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
fucking
No,
doing
for
it. You know what I
sure.
mean? Artists ain't you're winning.
That's the primary goal. Like for me right now, that's my short term goal is to get my music to the point where it's able to let me do it as a living, because not only will you be winning, you'll be blessed, be able to do what you love every day rather than going to some fucking job that you hate. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to do what you love every day. And for me, that's where my short term goal is right now. Like that's the first step for me, you know. And
And you
yes,
can do it.
yeah, for sure. And I appreciate that. Like my ultimate goal is definitely for me to I don't really want to say get famous. I just want people to hear my music. Like I wouldn't even say famous. What famous for me is probably different for famous for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like if a million bitches is listening to my music, that's famous to me. You know what I'm saying? If 40,000 motherfuckers is listening to my music, that's famous to me in some type of capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel
Hmm.
like I'm gonna keep growing from that. And things like this is the steps towards that. Like I was excited as shit for this. You know what I'm saying? Like to somebody who is at a different level that I'm finna be at soon might not see this as like some crazy opportunity. To me, it's a really dope opportunity, to get put on y'all blog. Like I was hyped for that shit. That shit got me excited. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's a part of my story. And wherever I go from here, you feel me? Like Folded Waffle gonna be a part of my story. Flamingo Fred gonna be a part of my story, and I appreciate that shit. No matter how big or how small, whatever opportunity is, everything that comes to you, I look at that as a blessing and
Mo-
a step
Most
to my
definitely,
success.
man. Shout out to Folded Waffle Blog, man, for believing in me also and helping put this together. But man, it just depends how you look at it. There's some people that's gonna say, this, and that. How we know in 5 years from now they ain't going to look at these interviews like they was looking at some of Pac's interviews. You feel me?
Right.
That's how I look at things every day. So some people be like, oh, he's doing this again, or they might not take it serious. I'm like, man, how do I know Smooth, this artist I'm talking to now? You feel me? 5 years from now, when he doing it worldwide, and they go pull up the footage. Like, man, there you was with Flamingo Fred 5 years ago. Now you in
Yeah.
Japan. You feel me? Holding it down for Florida. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
That's
sure.
how I look at it. But that goes to the belief in yourself and pushing your campaign. Because a lot of people might see, oh, they just on the podcast. Oh, they ain't like Drake. Oh, they ain't. You know what I mean? They ain't wearing Versace. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
to me, I look at it like, man, somebody gonna come back in these archives one day and dig up, some of these artists we talking to, because I'm talking to people all over the world. I got an interview um later with a cat in Melbourne, Australia. You know what I mean?
Right.
Coming on later tonight. So I mean, I'm talking to people all over the world. So I view it as, man, somebody gonna do their thing and they gonna dig in these archives, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely and I wouldn't be ashamed to have any of the opportunities that I've gotten so far. I would be happy for people to go back and see like, damn, that's where he started at. Like that's what Smooth started at, and this is where he is today. And I can be proud of shit like this. Like I'm proud to be able to be on here today.
Most definitely. What are some artists? I know you said your favorite artist, but what are some artists you want to work with?
Oh, okay. Like all time or like people like recent.
Man, hey, it's our world.
Shit, I'ma
Whatever
just do
you
everybody.
whatever
I'ma
you
just
want
do
to say.
everybody. Um, Definitely my dream collabs. Like if I'm going off like just the top people, Cole for sure.
Mm.
Really all of Dreamville. I fuck with all them boys over there. For sure, for sure. Uh,
What's not to cut you off? What is that one artist name? Jid.
yeah, that's my nigga. That's my nigga. Yeah,
He's
yeah, for
banana. I
sure.
like his imagination in the bar. He's bananas. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, yeah, but Cole, really all of Dreamville. That's the dream right there. I want to be definitely signed to that label. I know we don't need labels nowadays, so all you super independent freaks don't come at me crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's just my dream. So I got to do that part, or I
Man,
wouldn't be
live it.
keeping it
Hey,
true to myself.
we don't need labels, but I be wishing Stones Throw would come get me, man, just because I'm out of the box. You know what I mean? Just to do it.
Right, for sure. So yeah, that's definitely my dream is to get on that label. Um, Kendrick Lamar for sure,
Mm.
obviously. Ti son, what's his name? Damani. I feel like me and him could do some crazy shit together.
Dang. Oh yeah,
Damani
he been
Harris.
pushing.
Yeah, yeah. I fuck with bro music. Andre 3000. That's like the super dream. Cause like all time, like all time greats. That's my favorite lyricist. That nigga is the
Man,
truth, bro. You feel me? Ain't nobody fucking with Andre 3K. Lil Yachty. I just recently started getting like tuning in with him for real, for real. Like back in the day, I didn't really listen to his stuff, but like nowadays, I feel like
hey,
bro is tight as fuck.
Yachty,
He's tight
Yachty
as
got
fuck.
his flavor and his thing, how he do it.
Yeah, and he stick with it, but he also grew. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't just stay where he was from 2016. Like 2016 Yachty and today Yachty is two different people. Like the
Yeah,
nigga is wildly dope.
I'm gonna go
Also
check some
another
more of his
nigga
shit out.
recently, 21 Savage.
Mm,
That's definitely somebody I would want to work with now. Because I feel like the album that he just dropped is for sure a classic. You know what I'm saying? And like people that know me, they probably gonna watch this interview and be like, "What, bro? That shit is a classic, bro. That's a
yeah,
classic." Um, but yeah, like off the top of my head, I feel like those is the those are the people I want to work with.
nah, most definitely in this.
Oh wait, I gotta name one more person.
Oh,
One
hey,
more.
we good.
Um, damn, her name is I think her name is Ariel J. She made this
Mm,
joint called Glow 88, and it's been going like super crazy on like TikTok and Instagram. Yo, shout out to her. She is super talented, and I
man,
would love
send
to
it
get
to
on a
me.
joint with her. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna do her open verse challenge too. Probably get the probably gonna write that shit after this because the same beat
Man,
I use for Mask, that's the beat she used for Glow 88, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna
man.
probably do the little open verse challenge she got on Instagram.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it's dope to have artists like that. Like on my gram, there's like this Japanese chick, and I think she's over in Japan, but she plays the bass. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, hopefully I can get up with somebody and we can make a contact. But man, I would love to do
That's
a project with
crazy.
her just playing the bass. You know how crazy that would be?
A
Oh my
Japanese girl playing the bass
man,
is
she ding, ding,
wow.
ding, ding, ding. She sick with it,
Not
bro.
with the
Ding, ding.
funk, not with the funk.
Bruh,
I
funk,
know she ain't hitting them
not,
with the
not
funk.
not just bass. She playing the funk bass. She boom, boom, sound like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, bro,
That's
you know how
crazy.
dope it would be. Like that's somebody I want to collab with, and she, I mean, she probably not world famous. She popping on the gram, but maybe I could go take her a bag or I mean something like,
Hell
hey
yeah,
man,
type
look, I
shit.
got these bands, something. But I would love to have a project with her because she's fire. I don't even know her name. I just know, I seen her on there and she fire.
Hell yeah. And I can relate to that. You know, it's a lot of people I see every day that I want to work with. Her name just came to mind, like for sure, because I listened to the Glow 88 joint and she had another joint. I can't think of the name of it right now. I just ended up listening to the other day, bro. But she's really dope. You feel me? Like, y'all
Yeah.
definitely go listen to her music, bro. I feel like she the next Erica Badu. On God. She is raw. She is
It's
raw.
some talented people out there that just waiting to get discovered. But like we said, we lucky to have the internet and shit like this where we could discover these people versus this being the 90s or the 80s before the net was popping and you'll just
Yeah, yeah.
these people done gave up on their dreams because them bills got to get paid.
Yeah, yeah. You see that shit, even in the day age with all the resources that we got, you see that shit every day. You know, like because I'm 25, but like I see a lot of people like
Hmm.
around my age, you know, that's like saying fuck it on every dream that they had because you know they got this idea that they got to be perfect right now. Like they got to have a
Yeah.
house right now. You feel me? They got to have the best job, the best car, everything right now. Otherwise, they're a failure because they're looking at somebody on the fucking internet who's around our same age that's balling or they got the best this and the best that. But in reality, bro, that shit is just what it is. It's on the internet. It's a picture. It could
Hey,
be it could be real fucked up on that side
it's
behind the camera. You don't know.
it's truth. Like Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his big break. Like he didn't get his break. I think his biggest break was Pulp Fiction, and he was in his 40s. And then now look at all the movies he's done since Pulp Fiction. You feel
That's
me? So,
crazy. I ain't even know that. I
bruh,
ain't even know
he
that.
didn't he was in Pulp Fiction. He was in his 40s, bruh. And he got on to that movie with John Travolta, and then look at all the movies and stuff he has done. You know what I mean? Since
Yeah.
then, so some people gonna win at 18. Some people you don't never know. Some people never you don't never know when you gonna win. Like I'm glad I wasn't filthy rich at 18 because I mean I might be one of them true Hollywood stories where they look like You know what I mean? They got your
Yeah.
face like, man, he had it all, and it all went downhill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad, I didn't get it all, but now it's it's coming together and it's rolling. It's it's even doper. So your time gonna come. All you gotta know is just keep working hard. Cause man, I done seen so many. I know some dope. Like I know some artists, man, with rap that could go rap with Kendrick. Like I know some dope artists, and they just like, man, I don't even want to do it no more, or life caught them up, or they in jail, or whatever else. Like, and there's a lot of people that's gonna give up or just don't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, shit, I feel like I'd rather give it everything I fucking got, like in my entire soul, my entire body, and fail miserably than fucking just quit. I'd
You
rather that.
you gotta make sure you do it enough for you, because one day when you go look back, you don't want to be,
Damn, I
looking
should have
back
did
like,
this. I should have did
man,
that. Maybe if
that's
I would have stuck with it just this little bit
oh
more, like I ain't got time for that. I don't. That ain't a part of my future. I can't
oh
do it.
man, you do not want to be that guy and you gonna be beating yourself up and
Yeah,
twisting and turning over your, you know what I mean, and you gonna have to deal with you.
yeah, no, yeah. That's some real shit. And I got that game from my pops. Like he was always real big on just never you don't quit on what it is that you want to do, and if you want to do it, then do that shit. Like don't pretend and like half-ass do that shit, and like really give it everything that you got and try and go get it. That's why I appreciate my pops, man. He gave me a lot of game, even the shit that I didn't use. Like how your mama told you, like, hindsight's 2020. They done told us a bunch of shit that they already had to go through, that they already had to deal with, and try to tell you, look, this what's
And
gonna happen, and you're gonna wish that you listened to me later. And you be thinking it's a whole bunch of bullshit, because by the time you reach 16, 17, you think you know everything. Then
man,
shit, when you get to 22, 23, 24, you be like, damn, I really wish I would have listened. You feel me? And like, I don't had those moments way too many times with the shit that my pops done told me. So with this
man,
music shit, I'm taking heed of what he said. Like really trying to get after that for sure.
yeah, a lot of times people gonna say shit to you, and you might, look, a lot of times in my life, you might think they crazy, or you don't think they know what they talking about, or this, and that, and you gonna go
Yeah,
through some shit in life, and that shit gonna pop up in your head, and you gonna be like, damn, you know what? They told me, and
yeah,
that's part of life and part of growth. You gonna look and be like, man, they told me, but that's part of life.
yeah. But boy, that should be stinging, boy. That should
Oh
be
man,
stinging when they tell you like, and that should be happening the exact way they told you it was gonna happen. I just
they
pray to
they
God that
they
you feel
been
me
there and they did that. Like
in
my
the future.
grandmother, rest in peace. Not to cut you off, my grandma.
Yeah,
I
no, go
remember
ahead.
being a kid and she was telling me stuff, and I'm like, I used to be like, you know, not that she didn't know nothing, but grandma, you older, you don't know what's hot right
Yeah,
now. Like Granny, you don't know what's going on out here. It's wild out here, Granny. And
yeah,
looking back now, Granny knew Granny done seen it every which way. Granny knew what she was
yeah.
talking about.
She knew what was up. She knew what was up, and that's how it be, man. They go through so much, and they don't live so much more than you. People don't realize like them years mean something. Like even somebody that's 1 or 2 years older than you, like them years and the experience that came in those years. That's what that be making a difference. The experience, like me and you could be a year apart, but if I've experienced more than you and you're a year older than me, then it's probably gonna be a whole lot more shit than that I know than you would, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? And I feel like it's really important to take heed to what those people with a lot more experience and a lot more time put into a certain thing, have to say to you about that specific, subject. And with your parents, that life shit, they be knowing, bro. They be
Yeah,
knowing.
most definitely.
They be knowing everything.
Most definitely. Any last shout outs and stuff you want to get throw out there, man?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. You feel me? Like I said, my nigga Stunt. Follow him, City Boy Stunt on Instagram. That's CITIBOI Stunt. Um, Shout out my nigga Miles Katz or Kia KIA. That's his producer name. He the one that do all the masters after I send him the records. Shit. Shout out my nigga Chill Trav. He's the one that's on Mask. He got some shit coming out. I can't really talk too much about it because that's his shit. But like, he got some shit coming out that's some real
Yeah,
life heat. You feel me? Yeah, and shout out to all my niggas back home. Shout out my brother Moan. Shout out my pops. Shout out my other brother Chrome. Hey ma. Shout out to my lady, my woman, my wife, my love, Ariel. I love you. Shout out to my kids, Micah and Chance.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We appreciate having you on, man. Appreciate your time. You know where to find me. Hit your boy up. Don't be no stranger. Let's keep tapping in, man. And we gonna do this again real soon, man.
Hell yeah, for sure, man. Once again, it's your boy Smooth SMOVV. Be on the lookout for commas September 21st, and be on the lookout for my new joint called WebMD. 3 weeks.
Much love. We gonna tap in. Peace out, homie.
Peace out, man.